Pelosi says that she and McConnell hope to bundle a stimulus and omnibus. This just passing the Bloomberg earlier in the day. What does that tell you about the fact that we are going to see something by the end of the year?
It's looking incredibly likely. I mean, you know this from your days covering Capitol Hill. When you're in the halls of Congress, if there are lawmakers and there's a deadline, if they have a plane ticket booked to get home, they don't want to move that ticket. And to be honest, that's really what's serving as sort of the driving pressure. I'm not even trying to be funny here. It's the reality. They want to get this done before their holiday recess because they all want to go home and spend it with their families. And that's just the reality of covering Congress. Speaker Pelosi, headlines crossing the Bloomberg terminal just within the last 15 minutes or so, saying to reporters in the Capitol that she wants there to be some type of omnibus or essentially some massive legislative vehicle to attach some $908 billion worth of stimulus. This is a significant decrease in the $3+ trillion that Democrats had originally wanted for. Then they cut it down to $2.4 trillion. Now they're at $908 billion. When I talk to Republicans, they like what they see. They feel that they're moving in the right direction. But as you and I both know, Tim, there is no deal until it is signed, sealed, and delivered on the president's desk.
Yeah, look, I think if we learned anything from this morning's jobs report, tens of millions of Americans are still certainly struggling, and it couldn't come any sooner for so many people here in the U.S. Kevin, I do wonder to what extent the activity that you've seen from Democrats and Republicans when it comes to the stimulus just in the last few days sort of foreshadows for January. And look, I know a lot hinges on what happens in Georgia, but let's say that Mitch McConnell and Republicans hold on to the Senate. What does it mean for future stimulus packages? Because as you mentioned, this is significantly less than the several $trillion that Democrats wanted. Does it look like Biden will be able to get anything done to that tune when he becomes president?
You know, I think that's the question that we're all having down here in Washington. I mean, truly, because it's interesting, right? Because when we started the week and when we get these positive headlines, Tim, about, suddenly they are getting closer to a deal. Well, what changed? Well, essentially, Speaker Pelosi is looking at the incoming House of Representatives, and she's looking at her spread decreasing. You know, Republicans made gains in the House of Representatives. And so as a result of that, she's looking down the math, and her political capital, by all accounts, she wouldn't say this publicly, has essentially decreased a little bit, right? Because there's more Republicans there. Now, whose political capital has increased as a result of the 2020 cycle? Centrists. Not just centrists on the left, but centrists on the right. It's why someone like Senator Susan Collins, a Republican of Maine, Mitt Romney, I know some people, don't get me in trouble, some people wouldn't classify him as a centrist, but he is someone who has been critical of President Trump. Those types of Republican senators have more political capital right now because they're going to be the ones that a President Biden is going to be looking to cut deals with, to pick off in a Republican-controlled House, and to bring along the centrists in the House of Representatives. So it's a fascinating, dust-settling moment here in Washington, D.C., where the new Joe Biden era is starting to take shape. And it's really between Leader McConnell and President Biden. And Speaker Pelosi's capital has decreased just a little bit.
Oh, we're certainly grateful that you were there covering this new era. Bloomberg's Kevin Cirilli in Washington. Thank you, as always, for your time and for joining us on Quick Take.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.